Hey gang, Chase here, and today we're going to be discussing shooting slow motion. Slow motion is an excellent tool for capturing exciting, impactful footage, so we're going to look at 3 key variables that you should know to accomplish it successfully. Proper slow motion starts with capturing a higher than normal number of frames per second. For cinema, 24 frames per second is considered to be a normal frame rate to shoot and play back at. So, if we were to capture an action at 120 frames per second and play that back at 24, the video is going to appear 5 times slower. When determining the best frame rate for your scene, take 2 things into consideration: the speed necessary to capture your action properly, and/or the duration that you need that action to last in playback. For example, here's the same action at different frame rates. As you can see, the action shot at 180 frames per second is playing back very slowly and may take too long to complete, while the same action at 60 frames per second is moving very quickly, quicker than we'd like, and it's over way too soon. Shutter speed dictates the amount of motion blur a subject is going to have. The longer your shutter stays open, the more blurry any action in the frame is going to appear. The rule of thumb for a natural looking amount of motion blur is to set your shutter speed at double your frame rate. If your camera supports shutter angle, 180 degrees will always be double your frame rate. A shutter speed that's too fast may make the shot look a little too choppy, but too slow and you run the risk of having too much motion blur. When shooting slow motion, it's best to consider your subject and how much movement there's going to be. For action scenes where there's a lot of quick movement, some people actually prefer to shoot a faster shutter. This is going to ensure that each individual frame is sharp. Then again, you may want more motion blur as part of your aesthetic, so play with some different speeds until you find the one that you like best. The faster frame rates and shutter speeds necessary for slow motion shooting means that your camera's sensor is going to have less time to capture light for each frame, which means you're going to need a lot more light than usual to properly expose a shot, a situation that's exacerbated by the possibility of picking up flicker from certain lights. For example, when using tungsten units for slow motion work, anything under 2K can cause flicker. This is due to the alternating current, which, as it cycles, causes the light's filaments to rapidly heat and cool. 2K tungsten lights and higher do not have this problem because their larger filaments don't have time to cool and dim during the cycle. You can eliminate flicker from any tungsten light entirely by running it from a direct current source like a generator. HMI and fluorescent lights are typically fine, provided that they use electronic flicker-free ballasts. LED is becoming increasingly accepted for high-speed shooting, and most units made for professional use can be relied on not to flicker. But of course, the sun is always the best source for flicker-free lighting, provided that it's where you need it when you need it. And there you have it. Just take these tips into consideration and you'll be on your way to shooting some great slow motion content. For more great tips and tutorials, make sure to subscribe to the B&H YouTube channel. Thank you, everybody.